getting hundreds of thousands a month off your music?
Compound interest. Let's talk about a Miami condo building, right?
Yeah.
Each album is a floor. Each song is a unit.
What I'm building now is what is going to look like in the future.
If you're a moment artist, get out this conversation. If you're a lifelong artist, this is the talk for you.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers. So last week, Sauce Walka, very well-known independent artist, sat down on the Off the Record podcast with DJ Academics. Before you click off, this is actually a really interesting segment because here he's kind of given some advice in terms of how he runs his business as an independent artist. If you didn't know, this man has made up to $150,000 a month from his music independently without getting like major coverage or even like major plaques and all these different things that are usually associated with the major labels. It's really interesting that he breaks how he sees making music. And I thought this analogy could be helpful to the independent artists that are in this community.
All right, is there anything I miss? Anything I miss? I think I got everything. I know you got a shit ton of artists.
I'm the best rapper in Texas. That's what you miss. Me. I'm the greatest. I'm the best ever. I'm really one of the best rappers in the world.
Let's get you in a rap battle or something, man. Or let's get you in a verses or something.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Versus is like platinum records and shit.
Yeah, all right, let's get
I'm
you in a rap
independent, so you know what I'm saying? I'm still getting platinum records. I'm getting more money than platinum artists. I know I don't have a platinum record, though, to this day.
Yeah. Really?
No.
This is a very important part. He does not have a platinum record, but he says that he makes more money than the artists who do have platinum records.
You definitely got gold.
No.
You don't have a gold record?
I don't have a gold record. I don't have a platinum record. And I have way more money than all the people that got platinum
And you getting
records.
hundreds of thousands a month off your music?
Compound interest.
Damn.
You want to add it up like simple math? Let's look at it like this. We talking about Miami. Let's talk about a Miami condo building, right?
Yeah.
Let's say each floor is an album. How many stories is usually in one of those buildings?
Shit, a lot. It's not 50, 60.
Okay, so let's say 50, 60 stories. So if we would say 50, 60 stories, we would say 2 artists on my record label. Let's put 2 of my artists' albums together.
Slow down. This math can come at you a little bit fast. Slow down.
Let's get 26 of my albums that I have.
Oh, I forgot. You got a lot going on. I get it. You got a lot going on.
26 of my albums. You do 15 on one of my brother's albums. Sosa Man or somebody, one of my brother's albums, 15 albums. Each album is a floor. It's the building. Each album is a floor. So I added 27 floors, and then my brother added 15 more floors. So now we have 50 some odd floors, right? Each song on that floor is a unit. So if this one song every 30 days makes me $2,500, that's a $2,500 door. That's room 1. That's room 001. Then room 002 makes $1,700, and that's only a 2-bedroom. This one is a 3-bedroom. But these are songs. Then I got another song over here. This song got XXXTentacion on it. This song making me $25,000 a month. That's the penthouse. But that's one floor. One album is one floor.
I can't help but to feel like this was the product of like smoking a copious amount of weed one time in a session and be like, you ever think of this shit like that? But I like the idea. I like where he's going with this. Now, for some of y'all that are purists in this, I'm sure hearing this is grinding your gears. It's the most Caucasian thing I ever said. I'm pretty sure it's grinding your gears. I get it. It's about having a love for I'm the elevator head ass, says Afro Butter. I'm done. But I understand this idea. Matter of fact, I've even shared this when I was selling beats in that, you know, those who are so hyper focused on 1-2 beats not because you're focused on quality, but because you are paralyzed by perfection or the need to try to achieve perfection. I think this is one of those things where it's like, if you had a prolific output, what you have to understand is that quality is going to come along with that. There have been studies on that. We talked to a flow state expert in Stephen Kotler, and he said that that's what the studies show, is that those with a prolific output are those who achieve some of the most quality work that's out there. With that said, what he's saying is that he's looking at this and saying, if you look at every one of your songs that you complete as a piece of real estate or an individual tenant within a large building that you're currently building, every time you do another album, it's another floor that you build. Another album, another floor you build. Another song, you just have another room on that particular level. Now, if one of those songs end up being a successful one like he has with XXXTentacion, then the building starts to have a penthouse at the top. And that's what's making you this money. Now, I think that this is also the byproduct of the streaming era and the fact that we get paid so little money that we have to resort to this quantity approach to things. But I don't think it's a bad point of view to have for those of you that are building a long-term business. I think this sounds like a lot of work to somebody who's only coming into this just to hit a real quick lick. This ain't for you. If you're a moment artist, like my guy Brian Z says, if you're a moment artist, get out this conversation. If you're a lifelong artist, this is the talk for you. I'm gonna let him cook a little bit more.
Next album, next floor. Next album, next floor. Some floors got more songs on this album than the last album. This floor, we only got 15 rooms. This floor, we got 10 rooms. This floor, we got 25 rooms.
Hey, is there really a building that's designed like that?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You know what a building gotta look like to have more rooms on one level? This is like the 4th level. This is like the 5th level. This is like the 6th level. This is the 7th level. I need somebody who's an artist to draw this building. I need you to draw this building. I need somebody with animating skills to draw this building.
And some of the rooms are condominiums and penthouses. Do you think I give a fuck about going platinum?
Yeah. I think that matters for, like, you know, when people love to count the stats. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? You said something.
Yeah, I think I'm done here. All right, so we're gonna get some. What? We're done with that video. We came for Sauce Walker, not for academics. I'm gonna move on here to the One More Time podcast with La Russell, the already legend of making, independently doing some amazing things. He sits down with them and he talks here about a few different things. One of those things being his independence. And there's a lot of great points that are being made here that I think are going to extend upon this conversation that we're talking about.
I mean, it's safe to say you're borderline one of the kings of independence and like DIY, right?
Hey.
DIY.
One king of DIY. You hear me?
Man.
I put you in the same category as, like, you know, the Brent Fayazes of the world.
How you gonna take my whole branding? That man got a team.
Even, you know, the T-Pains of the world, clearly, that are really trying to like bootstrap this shit. Connor Price's, Nick D's, etc. Like, had you always been that when you first started your career, or is this somewhat of like a newer thing over the last couple of years?
Like independence?
Yeah, just like being so about it, right? Because you're like a spokesperson for independence at this point, right?
I think that.
Were you like that early on?
Through time. Hell no, I wasn't like that early. Like everyone's goal who gets into music is to get signed.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I was gonna say, right?
That's almost a part of like the process, like
the coming of age process as an artist.
That was for so long. It was a part of it. So you know, I've always. It's like it's a dream to be signed to a record label.
So when did it click? And that wasn't the dream.
I think it just clicks and clicks more and more every day, you know, because it's like still to this day we have discussions of like, but we could go sign and do this, you know, so it's still clicking till this day. But the more independent I became, the more independent I became.
Yeah. So I've obviously seen, you know, he passed on a $1.5 million deal, et cetera. Like, what deal would make sense for a La Russell right now?
I just need to be able to do everything I'm doing now.
You got me on the edge of my seat, my friend.
See, because as I'm growing, my perspective on it is changing. Like, if you want to go major, you have to be willing to do the things that come with going major.
Which are what?
And
Not dropping when you want to.
shit like
Maybe even some freaky shit too. You ain't heard it from here. It might be some freaky shit they put in that contract too. A right to your butt cheeks is what they might ask for. It's in the crack of the contract.
not just that, but being open to them bringing in writers and trying songs that they want you to try and taking their ideas and taking the meetings and hearing their rollout and pitch. You know, it's like if you go there and that's what they do, that's what you should be ready to do. I was looking at it opposite. You know, it's like, no, I want y'all to come be indie, but that's not how it works. You know, that's a hundreds of year system. It's like if you want that result, you go and you do the things that the system do. And I'm just not willing to do that. So I don't know if there's currently a deal that would even work for me, which I feel like has been the issue, because it's like, I get it, but there's nothing that really works for me. You know, I had a discussion recently and I was talking to Troy Carter, and he was like, there is no amount of money or anything they could give you that's worth your freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me your secret, you make it look easy. I think your first name is Houdini. The looks are deceiving, you wouldn't believe me. You better go find you a genie. I don't tell no fables, I just mold this life like Play-Doh. If you see me out here floating, then I guess I'm just Chris Angel. Pull the rabbit out my hat. Tell me, how do you explain that? Haters on attack, I guess I had to David Blaine. I still remember humble days when I could not just go and find a meal. Till I put that shit together right out the fridge like I. But I don't play no casinos, and I don't need no tuxedos to know I stack up them Cinos, and that I'm cold as Sub-Zero. No, I don't think I'm no hero, but I turn Rebos to seagulls, views up the sea and flamingos. I flipped it around like torpedoes, ego. Abracadabra, alakazam. If I get in the jam, then I do magic.
You know how I move. I'm always dropping something. I'm moving things here, shit moving here. So just having to keep up with that, I don't think it exists in this current form. Like, what I'm building now is what that is going to look like in the future. It's going to be indie artists who find this company that does this, and this company that does this, and this one that does this, and we all figure out ways how to split the pie of this independent thing versus indoctrinating me into this system. And you know, it's just a different game. But if I want the major result, I have to go do business how the majors do it and just find a way to make it fitting for me. But for what I want, it don't exist.
So I shout out LaRussell for a few different reasons. One, because I feel like he's also going to be part of the reason that there are going to be a generation of kids who don't come into this space and feel like they have to get signed in order to find success. Why? Because some of them are going to come up and see LaRussell and say that's the example of
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
someone who did it without them. It's going to become more and more and more of the norm. And I'm not so sure. I know he said a statement about if you want to go do things a major way, that you need to go through the majors. But the only issue I think with that is that, yikes, something is happening right now with the majors. I don't know if you saw this, but Rob Abelo, who I've covered a few different times on this platform, he highlighted a few things that I want to highlight here with you. First, after Universal Music Group got rid of, I think it was like 60% or 70% of their human being staff because they felt like AI was going to be the answer. Pun intended. Shout out to Allen Iverson. Their Universal Music Group share price is down 25% after reporting only 3.8% streaming revenue growth. Even through Spotify showed 20% growth and record profits.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What's happened here? What's going on? Here's some more stats that might be interesting to you. Universal Music Group just reported some surprising Q2 numbers that signal a large movement in music. Remember when I left streaming and I told you that I do believe there's a renaissance for physical media coming back? And y'all said, shut up, boomer. Sit your ass down. Nobody's buying your stupid ass CDs. Well, here's the latest numbers. Recorded music is up 5.8%. Streaming overall is up 3.8%, but streaming paid is up 6.5%. Streaming free, you know, people who just sign up and stream, that's down 4.2%. Yikes. Merchandising is up plus 44%. Physical music right now is up 9.5%. When I tell you I be knowing what I'm talking about, shut up, sit down, and you better recognize when somebody know what the hell they talking about. You niggas get on my nerves. This also shows that streaming growth is slowing. Paid is outpacing free, and units of fandom are flying off the shelves. You know, all those folks who try to tell us, shut up, stop talking about it, the fans don't care about it, they're indifferent about it. Weird thing, they want to support the artists that make their favorite music because they want them to continue making music. What a dumbass concept, right? I got one more video that I want to show you before we get up out of here that I thought was really interesting from Demiza. It's only getting better. It's only getting better. I love his point of view on this one because he is cracking the hell up on this.
You know, it's so interesting to me. I did a little more research this morning, not only on Universal that took a 20% haircut on the stock price due to lackluster earnings. I got to ask where the money went. I mean, you already fired everybody. I mean, you're blaming subscription services and the platforms where Warner Brothers last quarter said they did great, and it was because of the streaming services and platforms. Not just that, but Universal is holding on to its royalties longer. They don't pay quarterly anymore. They pay twice a year. Now, with interest rates being so high, that just means that they're making money on the money that they should be paying out. And discussing AI the way that they are, I mean, is only for one reason, and that's to cut out royalty payments to artists. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, $3-something billion and you're not caking, holding on to revenue and making money on the money, and you're not caking, then where are you spending the money? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're not incubating artists. You're not developing artists. I mean, Jermaine said something excellent this morning, and he always does, because Jermaine is a genius in this business and has been around in every single decade with a hit. He said it's the boutique labels. Uptown, look how many artists that gave us. Def Jam, look how many artists that gave us. Quality Control, look how many artists that gives us. If it worked once, it'll work again.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You know, maybe for good measure, I should go find that original post as well. Maybe that means that they don't quite know what they're doing either. Maybe they're just as lost about where things are going than those who are looking on the outside. Maybe they truly thought that this was going to be the game changer that was necessary. Maybe they said, hey, you know what? We're right there. Get rid of these human beings. They want to go direct to consumer shit. We can go direct to consumer then too. We don't need the artists. We can replace them with Effin' Mecca. You know, the AI rapper that was coded by a white coder that had him saying an egregious amount of niggas in his songs. You know that one. Also, you know, they tried to get rid of their staff. People who have been there for years, A&Rs and all these different folks that are part of their department, their company. They got rid of them to try to go straight to AI. You know, the future is independent. I saw an article that talked about how Amazon is now buying up old movie theaters that have went bankrupt. I think they bought up like a Cinemark. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to also go direct to consumer. Now, when they produce these original Amazon movies, instead of giving them to the streaming services, you can go now watch them in the Amazon movie theaters that will come up. I'm not sure if that's the name, but they're buying up that space right now. So the future of this game is direct to consumer. The future is independent. So when you see these individuals who are talking about that, that should show you all across the board these things are happening. But guess who doesn't know independence? The majors. They don't know independence. They're independent adjacent. They're not meant to know that. They're majors for a reason. Now look at who the folks who are going to be empowered. Now, will they find a way to balance that out and make it to where they're back in power again? Of course, it's what they do. But it won't be because of any of us, I hope, that give that power away. As LaRussell says, the more independent he becomes, I attested the same thing. And that now that I'm looking at what can be done, I have very little desire to see the what ifs on the other end. Because now I'm thinking of what am I missing out on if I don't launch upon my own ideas? And at the end of the day, you know what this all is? At the end of the day, take the title of rapper and producer out of the conversation. You know what this really is? We're just businessmen and businesswomen. And the business we chose to go into is the music business, not the record business, but the music business. Shout out to Glasses. It is literally the music business. Some of us sell a little bit differently. Some of us have a different demographic, but it is a music business. Part of this music business, direct to consumer, is putting an emphasis on physical media, an emphasis on merchandise, an emphasis on shows, an emphasis on things that really, really help us to get to the bottom line. Utilizing streaming maybe for reach, or utilizing that for teasers and strippets, as I like to call them. But the thing at the end of the day is that it's an art business. We are in business. So all those things you hear people complain about, what about the fans who want convenience? That's part of your business as an independent artist. Figure out how to develop an app. Figure out who can develop an app and put your music behind that paywall. Well, they'll never come over. That's part of your business. Can you imagine opening up a mom and pop shop somewhere in your city and then putting up on the front of your building, you make sandwiches, but never doing advertisement? Can you imagine just getting on Twitter and just spamming on your own timeline the same sandwich over and over again, the same picture, and saying, come to the store? That's what artists are doing. So if no other business can survive like that because they're not actually doing business, what makes you think us as artists and producers are going to survive like that? they're just not used to us talking like this. They're not used to individuals like myself and you. That's why we will be the death of those monopolies, as Afro Butterfly just said. You just have to look at this as a true business and understand that when shit goes wrong, it's like buying a home. When you buy a home, there ain't nobody you can call up from your rental place. That shit on you. Leaky faucet, that's on you. That issue going on with your washer and dryer, that's on you. That light bulb you can't reach, you better find your ass a ladder. So it's the same thing when we operate our businesses. That's all I'm getting at, is that we have businesses. So treat it as such and stop relying upon these people who do not have your best wishes at hand to run your business for you. I believe we're approaching that next generation where that becomes a norm, but it starts with conversations like this. Those are my thoughts though, DIYers. Let me know yours.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.